Young and Restless is building to a big reveal in the Aristotle Dumis story, and while we're kinda intrigued, there are a number of issues hindering the anticipation factor. Perhaps the most significant is that we already know how it's going to end. We first heard the alias Aristotle Dumis in conjunction with Nate's new half-brother, Damian Kane, who works for the mysterious figure. Fans shrugged it off as part of the puzzle surrounding Amy's son, but the moniker soon took on a life of its own, eclipsing the introduction of Damian to the canvas. Victor Newman revealed that he and Dumis had an adversarial relationship in business over the years, and soon his name was on just about everyone's lips. One problem with the rollout to revealing Dumis' true identity is that it's been so heavy-handed and so long-running that fans are sick to death of hearing about it. Think we're exaggerating? Think again. Watch the compilation video below, which was just February and March. It's now May, and we're still going. This is creating a situation where viewers have become sick and tired of the character before he has even appeared. Viewers have put in far more time than they ever wanted to listening to endless speculation about Dumis' possible motivations. It's airtime that could have been devoted to actual soap drama, which has been sorely lacking. Making matters worse, the whole storyline revolves around business. After spending the better part of 2 years waiting for Tucker McCall to do something more than belly up to Genoa City bars making threats, the idea of a redo with a similar character is not appealing. Fans have become turned off to anything to do with takeovers and the corporate CEO go-round that Young and Restless has been heavily focused on for years now. The prospect of a new character who will bring more of that just isn't going to generate excitement for the audience at this point. On the bright side, Aristotle Dumis is an alias, which suggests that once their true identity is revealed, we'll never have to hear that name again. Another aggravating factor is that it's increasingly likely that Billy Flynn from Days of Our Lives has been cast as Dumis. He said he's playing someone new, so on top of the aforementioned problems, we're going to be dealing with a character we're not invested in and already resent to some extent. But the aspect that's dampening the mood toward Dumis and his storyline most of all is that we already feel that the outcome is a foregone conclusion. From the moment that Victor entered the chat, we knew this was no longer about Damian or the Winters family, but about the Black Knight. It quickly took shape that Dumis and the Mustache would be doing battle over Chancellor Industries, which has changed hands so many times since poor Catherine shuffled off this mortal coil that it's tough to still care who runs it. Bottom line, what's the point of getting ourselves all geared up for this clash when we know full well Victor will win? He always wins. There's no denying that it is hella entertaining to watch him take someone down. But the repetitive nature of the corporate plots have turned what was once thrilling into something irritatingly predictable. The minute it became clear that this is where the Dumis story was headed, it killed much of the anticipation we might otherwise have been able to muster up. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Jolie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. In Chancellor Park, Kyle asks Claire what a campaign to win over her grandfather would look like. She suggests they have to prove to him how strong their love is and how committed they are. He's skeptical. Claire asks Kyle if he's unwilling to make the effort. Reminding her of how much he loves her, Kyle explains that he doesn't know what he can do to convince Victor. It's likely there's nothing either of them can do. Claire thinks her grandfather just needs the chance to hang out with them as a couple when he doesn't have his defenses up. Then he could see how happy they make each other. They could bring him on a picnic with Harrison. It may take a lot of picnics, but they can wear him down like waves against a rock. Kyle loves her optimism, but can't see this working. There has to be an answer, she insists, repeating that they just need Victor to see the love. Kyle remains unconvinced. He's an abbot, and that means he will always be seen as an enemy. He can't understand why Claire is so dead set on this. She's an adult, and everyone in their families already supports them. She explains that when she was learning about her family, Victor's story of rising from being an orphan to building a powerful company and having a family resonated with her. When she finally met him and felt his love, she gained a sense of belonging that she never had and didn't think she deserved. Victor's hate runs as deep as his love, and there's no greater hate than his hate for the Abbotts, Kyle reminds her. The man works relentlessly to destroy his family. He points out Victor just threatened him, ordered him not to buy Adam's apartment, and to stay away from her. When there's that much rage, how could love be enough to change his mind? However, seeing how important this is to her, he will try. Claire tells Kyle that Nikki said that this isn't just about Victor being a threat. It may be best for them to slow things down. He's confused to hear Nikki advise them not to move in together. Claire assures him she's on their side, but thinks they need to go slower because jumping into this will only make it worse. Kyle worries that they will be giving in to Victor's demands. He complains that it feels like there are 3 people in this relationship. They should be making decisions based on what's right for them, not on Victor and his moods. When Kyle assures her he will do anything for her, Claire says that the rest of the challenge is falling on him. At Crimson Lights, Phyllis strolls in and spots Daniel. She assures him she's just getting coffee, not stalking him. When he invites her to sit, Phyllis eagerly takes a seat. Daniel admits he's feeling a little better, but warns her not to ask him back to Abbott Communications. She claims she also wants to move on from Abbott Communications. Daniel wonders if she's pulling some reverse psychology. Phyllis declares she was too good for Billy. It's upward and onward for her from now on. Her son is happy to hear that, but has his doubts. The job has been her obsession, and now it's gone. Phyllis claims the only reason she was excited about it was because they would be working together. Now it's over and Billy will be going down. Especially since he's decided to replace me with his girlfriend, she says. When Daniel says Sally is talented, Phyllis dismisses her as only being talented at placing pillows on couches and getting jobs from her boyfriends. Phyllis says Sally can run something that is already on autopilot, but Abbott Communications will require the ability to think outside the box. Sally will fail, and Billy will come begging for Phyllis to return. But she's moved on. Daniel hopes Phyllis is sincere about moving on, but is nervous about what she has planned next. Assuring him that all her goals are positive, his mother explains that they all have to do with him. She wants them to find a new direction together. Daniel suggests they simply keep each other posted on their progress instead. Phyllis says they don't need Billy and his stupid company. They can build an empire of their own. Doing what exactly? He asks. When she tries joking about starting a communications company, he doesn't laugh. Moving her hands around, she suggests they feel it out, and figuring it out will be half the fun. As long as her son is by her side, she's good. Daniel doesn't think Phyllis has heard a word he said. He loves her, but they both have work to do on themselves before they should think about what's next professionally, let alone consider building an empire. Phyllis disagrees. Finding a purpose is the best way to fight off your demons. Her son suggests she's sounding desperate. I need to feel relevant, she says. She also wants Daniel to thrive the way Summer is. She wants to help him find a purpose. Daniel repeats that he's in no place emotionally to consider what is next. He's still grieving Heather and can't yet move on. His mom suggests focus could diminish the void he's feeling. Sensing she will not let this go, Daniel tells her that if she finds something that inspires her, she can bring it to him. If it sparks something, he may consider it. Phyllis is up for that challenge and promises to bring back fire to get them to start a new life. Mariah sits by the overlook in the park and stares into space as Tessa jogs up to her. She's been looking for her and knows she likes to come up there when she needs to think. Tessa asks when she will let her in and tell her what's wrong. She thinks her wife is avoiding her. Mariah has been leaving for work early and coming home late, avoiding their breakfasts and not even reading to Aristotle. I'm just tired, "I'm busy," Mariah claims. Her wife guesses something has happened, and she doesn't trust her enough to tell her. They used to share everything and now she can't stand to look at her. Tessa wonders if this is about her wanting Mariah to give Ian a second chance. Mariah will admit that it is about Ian and all the twisted things he did to her. She thought she was okay, but seeing him brought it all back. Learning that she was the reason he returned made it all worse. Tessa reminds her that she was a victim too. Maria's sick of hearing that. Tessa says Ian was evil and did evil. Mariah feels like she's been weak. She never saw Ian for who he was and what he was capable of because she was so needy and broken. "Don't say that," Tessa urges, reminding her of how kind and generous she can be. She assumes she shut her out for urging her to forgive Ian and exposing their life to that monster. Tearful Tessa says she will apologize for the rest of her life. If she can't forgive her, maybe they can try therapy. Taking Tessa's hand, Mariah tells her she's not the one who needs to be forgiven. As tears run down Mariah's face, Tessa begs her wife to tell her what it is. No matter how bad it is, she can tell her because she loves her. They can get through this as they get through everything. "I'm sorry," Mariah sobs, rushing away. Sitting on the bench alone, Tessa stares and listens to the birds. Daniel drifts by and jokes they should have a jam session since they are both so bluesy. Realizing how upset she is, he asks if she's okay. She bursts into tears and starts sobbing on his shoulder. Billy joins Sally as she sits at society and fills her in on the conversation he had with Victor, who was spewing the same garbage as always. She's not surprised that he was resorting to the usual threats. Sally points out they already have Phyllis, Adam, and Victor coming at them. Billy doubts Phyllis is a threat and dismisses Adam as predictable. Spectra says they should ignore them all. He agrees, but there's a chance for them to avoid any attack. Victor offered not to start a media war if he'd tell him all he knows about Aristotle Dumis' plans for Chancellor. This is no surprise to Sally. Billy explains that Victor's proposition helped him realize that Dumis was out to use him too. His eyes are wide open. Victor slipped up and showed that he's concerned about Dumis. That is something he can use to his benefit, and there will be no risk. He can use what he knows to pit Victor and Dumis against each other and let them duke it out over Chancellor. Billy can see Sally's not loving this idea. She asks if this means he's willing to let go of Chancellor. Billy claims Chancellor was only a means to take Victor down. Watching him go down in flames is worth the risk to him. Sally makes him confirm that he is committed to Abbott Communications and will not take Chancellor back even if it is offered to him. He promises Chancellor is not his endgame. It's time for Victor to get what he deserves, and he'll be happy to watch from a distance. Sally says, "We're in this together, and it's going to be one hell of a ride." They kiss, and Phyllis is standing beside them. She's been eavesdropping. The upcoming episode of the CBS soap opera, The Young and the Restless, airing on May 13, 2025, reveals a day full of plotting, changing partnerships, and surprise twists in Genoa City. As pressure builds in both business and personal lives, some major characters will take bold steps to protect their interests and get ahead. In The Young and the Restless episode, Victor Newman will think about teaming up with Phyllis in a risky deal. Adam Newman will struggle to balance his work life and his relationship with Chelsea. At the same time, Lally Winters will be caught off guard when Damian Kane brings something unexpected to their meeting, which might change her plan to bring down Aristotle Dumis. Lily and Damian on The Young and the Restless will meet to talk about the role she offered him. While Lily hopes Damian will agree to help her take down Dumis by pretending to work with him, she'll be surprised by what happens next. Damian not only shows interest in the job, but also comes up with some of his own ideas, surprising Lily with his thoughts and suggestions. As he talks about ways to make their plan stronger, Lily will feel cautiously hopeful. This could be a key moment in their partnership, especially if Damian proves he's more than just someone following her orders. Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson have decided to work together again, even though their past is complicated. As Chelsea starts her new job at Newman Media on The Young and the Restless, both of them are feeling the pressure to make it work without letting their history get in the way. Adam will have a hard time balancing his roles as a co-parent, ex-partner, and now co-worker. Chelsea might also feel stressed, but her desire to succeed will keep her focused. However, things are still unstable, especially with Victor's influence, which makes everything more difficult. Victor Newman is always open to a profitable partnership, but Phyllis Summers might push him too far. Phyllis, who has been focused on creating a new business with Daniel, will offer Victor a deal that could benefit them both. Victor, who has already supported Audra Charles' new business, will carefully listen to Phyllis' proposal. She may offer useful information about Billy Abbott's plan to stay out of the way and let Dumis go after Victor. This could be important to Victor as he builds his power. However, Phyllis will need to prove that her offer is worth it to Victor. Their partnership may not happen immediately, but this episode sets up the possibility of a risky alliance driven by ambition and revenge. Billy Abbott on The Young and the Restless has decided to step back and let Dumis handle things with Victor directly. He thinks he's being smart by avoiding direct conflict, but this could backfire. Both Victor and Phyllis have their own plans, and Billy's decision to stay out of it might make him look weak. If Victor finds out about Billy's strategy through Phyllis, he won't take it well. With enemies secretly teaming up against him, Billy might soon find himself in a situation he thought he had avoided. After watching the new promo for The Young and the Restless, my head's still reeling from what I've seen. My gut fell when Mariah and Tessa first showed up on that park set, both in tears and devastated. It's been a while now since something has not been quite right with Mariah after she returned from her vacation. The guilt in her eyes, the iciness between Mariah and Tessa, and now this weeping scene appear to be the moment of turning. When Mariah said, "It's not you who needs forgiveness," I felt a chill. I already knew then that whatever she's been keeping secret would come out and hurt. To her credit, Tessa has been working so hard. She's been blaming herself, believing perhaps her willingness to let Ian in, or the tension overall that pervades their lives, is why emptiness was there. But to see her beg for counseling, attempting to salvage their marriage, as Mariah herself stands before her, tears streaming down her face, shattered me. It's so obvious that Mariah's got some heavy baggage, something that she's been too afraid to voice. And now it seems like she's about to confess a blunder that will alter everything. As a die-hard fan of Teria, I'm terrified. This isn't shaping up to be a speed bump. This is shaping up to be the beginning of a storm. And I don't know if their love will endure it on The Young and the Restless. It's no use denying it now. Mariah is keeping a huge secret. The way she has been behaving since she returned home reeks of guilt. I don't want to mention this, but the most glaringly apparent possibility is that she cheated. Perhaps it was a nightstand while she was in town on business one day, a slip, too much to drink, and before she knew what was happening, she'd done something that can't be undone. The thought alone makes me ill, considering how far Tessa and she have come to achieve what they have. More worrisome, however, is the threat that someone else already knows. There are rumors that Mariah could have met up with some old flame, such as Lindsay, or even a new one off camera in The Young and the Restless. Whether emotional or physical, if Mariah crossed a line, she certainly feels she betrayed not only her wife, but their family. I remind myself over and over again that this is not necessarily the end, but my hope is dwindling. Watching Mariah implode in front of Tessa's eyes and knowing she's going to confess is cruel. They have fought through so much together as a couple: surrogacy complications, long stretches apart, career changes, and now parenthood. It kills me to think that it would all come crashing down over one mistake. But deep inside me, I still want to believe in them. If this confession breaks them for a moment, maybe it also provides them with an opportunity to begin anew, to recall why they fell in love in the first place. I hope that when the truth comes out at last, Tessa will be able to find it within herself to understand the complete picture. Love cannot erase betrayal, but maybe it can mend it. For now, I'm holding my breath, dreading the moment Mariah speaks the words she's been choking back. Because when she does, everything is going to change on the young and the restless, and I'm not sure any of us are ready for it. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates reveal that Claire Newman has developed an intense fixation on gaining the approval of her grandfather, Victor Newman. But has she crossed a line? Shouldn't Claire prioritize Kyle Abbott over her quest for validation from her grandfather? Throughout her childhood, Claire yearned for a nurturing family to embrace her, but instead, she faced the harsh manipulation of Jordan. It's clear why Claire seeks Victor's approval for her relationship, particularly since this is the one aspect causing turmoil. Victor champions Claire's career and applauds her escape from Jordan's grasp. While Claire has gained Victor's endorsement in nearly every facet of her life, her romantic endeavors remain a sticking point, making her desire for resolution understandable. However, Claire must recognize that some matters are simply out of her hands. Everyone else supports Claire and Kyle's budding romance, so why isn't that enough for her? In the May 12 episode of Y&R, Kyle confronts Claire about her obsession with seeking Victor's approval, and she's not the only one with issues from childhood. Claire reveals her admiration for Victor's journey from the orphanage to his current status, and expresses her gratitude for the way he embraces her as a Newman. However, Kyle suggests that Claire needs to reevaluate her fixation on Victor, as it's causing complications in their relationship. And he dealt with his mom playing dead. He accurately notes that it feels like there are three parties involved, with Victor acting as a persistent third wheel due to Claire's preoccupation with his concerns and her attempts to resolve them. Kyle tries to force Claire to see his side, and how Victor constantly causes problems for them, just because of his years-long feud with his dad. During the week of May 12 to 16, Claire will attempt yet another strategy, likely futile, as she aims to join forces with Kyle to demonstrate to Victor how blissfully united they are. She plans to orchestrate a party, hoping to use it as a golden opportunity to showcase the beauty of her relationship. However, this approach might backfire, potentially aggravating Victor even further. Is there a moment approaching when Claire must recognize that seeking Victor's approval is an exercise in futility? Perhaps her happiness would flourish if she simply relinquished her desire for Victor's endorsement of her romance. It's time for Claire to prioritize her own life and her relationship with Kyle over her connection with her grandfather. As Victor conspires against both Claire and Kyle, aided by Audra Charles, this situation may serve as a revealing lesson for Claire in the future. Although Victor has foreseen Kyle's failure, it may actually be his relationship with Claire that suffers the most. Future previews for the CBS soap suggest that Claire could soon reevaluate her views on Victor, so stay tuned for updates on any impending developments. Y&R showrunners are keeping Kate Fairbanks in the dark about Mariah's secret. Mariah's keeping a huge secret on the young and the restless. In true soap fashion, it'll be a while before she reveals what she's hiding. When her secret is finally exposed, it'll be a surprise for fans and for Kate Fairbanks. From the moment Mariah returned from her trip, Tessa sensed something was wrong. Tessa's instincts are correct because her wife is hiding something. From what's been revealed so far, Mariah got drunk and did something so bad that Tessa can never know. Not only is Tessa in the dark about Mariah's secret, but so is Fairbanks. In an interview with Soap Opera Digest, the actress revealed that the Y&R showrunners are keeping that detail from her. They, the powers that be behind the scenes, kind of keep all of that tucked away from us, Fairbanks said. We're always trying to claw at it, but whoever's experiencing the secret knows the secret. While Grimes knows Mariah's secret, she hasn't shared it with Fairbanks. However, that hasn't stopped the actress from trying to pry information out of her co-star. I try to dig at it, but she hasn't given in quite yet, Fairbanks revealed. Although Fairbanks knows she won't get answers soon, her curiosity about the secret continues to grow. Selfishly, I'm just thinking, just tell me, I'll act. I'll be fine. Don't worry, I'm an actor. It's fine. I can pretend not to know. If I can pretend to be kidnapped, I can pretend not to know your secret. Unfortunately, Fairbanks will have to wait a little longer until the big reveal. Whatever Mariah's secret is, it'll cause lots of heartache for her and Tessa. Fairbanks and Grimes will undoubtedly knock it out of the park with their performances as Taraya's marriage crumbles. On the May 12 episode of The Young and the Restless, Tessa begged Mariah to admit what was bothering her and how Tessa could help make things better. Mariah refused, leaving Tessa hurt and frustrated. Last week, Soap Hub speculated that Mariah's secret had a 9-month shelf life. She had a one-night stand and is now pregnant. Well, if what goes around comes around, what if Tessa does the exact same thing? With the exact same results? We've been scratching our heads about the point of Tessa giving Daniel guitar lessons. On any other show, with any other couple, we'd have assumed this was a slow-burning romance, or at least a convenient fling when both are at their low points. But we doubted Y and R would break up their only same-sex couple for a man, no less. So while, sure, it's nice to have hobbies, and Daniel could use a friend and something to take his mind off his dead partner and insane mother, and Tessa maybe could use the extra money, story-wise, their interaction didn't seem to be leading anywhere, unless, if Mariah cheated on Tessa with a man, and is now pregnant, well, would Mariah blame Tessa for being so upset at the news that she runs out and has a one-night stand of her own with Daniel, and also ends up pregnant? And now, we've got a married couple, both of whom are pregnant at the same time. Mariah and Tessa patch up their differences and resolve to raise their babies together. My, what a big, happy, non-traditional family they will make. Until the dads want a role in their children's lives. Daniel, for sure, won't be shunted aside. He fought for Lucy when she was a baby, and he was just telling Phyllis how much he yearns to find his purpose. A new baby would certainly be that. And we don't know who Mariah's potential baby daddy might be, but we sure hope it's someone interesting and connected to the canvas. How about Victoria's son, Reed, or Lily's son, Charlie? What about Kyle's old friend turned cousin, Theo, Lauren's son, Fen? The sky is the limit. And this would truly be a story no soap had ever done before. It'll be a day full of drama on Y and R. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, May 13. See Victor consider taking Phyllis on while Adam and Chelsea end up struggling with working and living together. Plus, Damien impresses Lily. It's going to be a day full of drama you won't want to miss. Victor is set on taking down Billy, Kyle, and Jack. He's doing everything in his power to once and for all put them in their place. Billy just fired Phyllis, and she's looking for some revenge. In fact, she might even be willing to work with her nemesis Victor. After all, the enemy of my enemy. Plus, it looks like Victor considers an alliance with Phyllis. Adam and Chelsea moved in together at the old ranch after Victor rebuilt the original ranch. Chelsea was adamant that they weren't going to get back together. But oops, they did get back together. Recently, Adam asked Chelsea to work with him at Newman Media. She hesitated, but she decided to go ahead and go for it. Almost immediately, she worried that Adam was going to use the company to smear Billy, which she was adamant they wouldn't do. Now, Chelsea and Adam struggle with their work/life balance. Lily shocked Damien by offering him a job at Winters, a real job this time. Neither Nate nor Devin was thrilled by Lily's move. However, she didn't care what they thought. It was a day filled with drama in Genoa City. The Young and the Restless recap for Monday, May 12 sees Mariah break down, leaving Tessa heartbroken. Plus, Phyllis listens as Billy and Sally plan, and Claire asks Kyle to try to win over Victor. At the park, Tessa found Mariah curled up and crying. Her wife pleaded with her to open up, but Mariah insisted everything was fine. She claimed she was just tired, overwhelmed with work, and too drained to even read Ariah a bedtime story. But Tessa wasn't buying it. This wasn't about exhaustion. It was about Ian. Mariah admitted seeing Ian again had reopened old wounds she thought were long buried. His crimes, murdering Heather, drugging Sharon, had left deep scars, and now the trauma was bleeding into her everyday life. Tessa reminded her that she was a victim, not a co-conspirator, but Mariah couldn't stop blaming herself. Tessa apologized again for suggesting Ian deserved forgiveness. She offered therapy, counseling, anything to pull Mariah back to her. But Mariah, gasping through tears, could only manage, "I'm sorry," before fleeing. Tessa collapsed onto a bench, crushed. Moments later, Daniel stumbled across her and silently offered a shoulder to cry on. Meanwhile, Daniel had a heavy conversation of his own earlier in the day. Over coffee at Crimson Lights, Phyllis told her son she was ready to move on from Abbott Communications. She took shots at Billy and Sally, questioning their talent and declaring that their company was doomed. Then she turned to Daniel and proposed they start something new together. Daniel wasn't in the mood. He told his mother he couldn't move forward until he processed the grief. But Phyllis wouldn't let it go, so he offered a compromise. If she found something truly inspiring, maybe he'd consider it. "I'm going to find a fire," she declared, energized. Over at Society, Billy updated Sally on his latest brush with Victor. The Newman patriarch had offered a ceasefire if Billy spilled details about Dumas. Billy was tempted to use Victor's paranoia to stir the pot. Sally warned him not to get pulled back in. He agreed, promising to step away from Chancellor and focus solely on Abbott Communications. They kissed, all smiles, unaware that Phyllis was standing just feet away, eavesdropping. In the park, Claire proposed an ambitious plan to Kyle. Win Victor over through love and consistency. Maybe picnics with Harrison would soften him. Kyle wasn't convinced. He reminded her that Victor had threatened them and banned the apartment sale. Still, Claire explained why her grandfather's approval mattered so much. Growing up with no family, she had idolized Victor. Kyle respected that, but he couldn't understand why they should bend their lives around one man's stubborn hate. When Claire suggested slowing things down to make Victor feel heard, Kyle asked if they were even in a two-person relationship anymore, or if Victor had become a third wheel.